Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Wondery.
Looking for your best sleep ever? Sleep Number smart beds are literally made for you. They adapt to your changing needs. So whether you're dealing with sore muscles or running hot at night, your bed automatically adjusts for optimal comfort. Want softer, firmer, cooler, warmer? With personalized firmness settings and temperature control that cools up to 20 times faster than leading competitors, you'll get the perfect sleep environment every night. Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed? So you can choose your ideal comfort on either side. And now it's the Sleep Number Everything Smart Bed sale. Every smart bed and base are on sale during our Memorial Day event, up to 50% off, limited time, exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. See store or sleepnumber.com for details.
This is Ricey for my guy Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Royce is a paid endorser.
Okay.
Is this on the thing?
Sure is.
Live?
No.
Well, who's getting this?
Well,
We're on the YouTube.
you guys were just making me misty-eyed for...
How do my man boobs look on the YouTube here? How's she look?
Fetching. You're very
Good,
fetching.
good, really,
you just reminded me something,
Chesty.
Pat.
What?
And now, Joe and Pat present Sports Talk's Person of the Day.
She rang the horn last
She
night.
got to blow the Gallahorn.
She blew the Gallahorn. And
We started her off, that's
before she did it, why didn't she throw in a little accolade to
something for
Joe
the
and
effort.
Pat, making her a celebrity?
We should have given her the Royce Such 24 T-shirt to wear at the game last night.
We should have. That would have been great. That would have been
Sports person. Joe was so enamored with sports
I
person
love
of the
that
day.
bit.
A month into it, he said, Reeves, who do you got? I
Well,
don't...
we went from each having 1-1.
That's true. We got her down
we
to
cut her
one.
down in half. We cut her in half. We cut her in half. Because the idea
You were
was,
very proud of that idea, though.
well, because I wanted to kill time.
We need a
But
benchmark.
see,
You
I
and
kept
I-
telling you, radio isn't about killing time.
Yes, but you're doing 12 to 2 then, right?
Yeah, whatever.
The
I don't even
Logic.
remember what the hell
And
I
then
was
we were
doing.
supposed to do 2 hours of sports. 2 hours of sports. And then right away, when we first started, we didn't have the height half-hour news.
That's right.
And about a weekend, we said, height. You gotta
We're
kill
gonna need you.
You got to kill a half hour here for us. Then we'll be down to an hour and a half. Then we got a 10-minute segment here, sports person of the day, because we each got one, but about a month later we only had one.
And now,
Which
Joe and Pat
Jamie-
present
Jamie-
Sports Talk's Person
Jamie
of the Day.
Erdahl appreciated that because she only used to have to track down
One
address,
person.
one address to send the port.
I remember
that
she
stack?
came in and she said, where the hell is Aiken? You know, or whatever city she...
But the thing about it is, when they got rid of that show and you went back to drive time and we were whatever the hell was going on, we had a stack of sports person.
we still have some.
certificate this high. Yeah, she didn't fill her 3-month assignment.
I don't think so.
She like about after 2, she said.
Does she host a show?
She hosts Good Morning Football on the NFL Network.
Yes.
Daily?
Every morning.
Is it on radio?
She got a hubby and 2 babies. She's she's a great
It's on
success.
TV?
Every morning.
What channel? NFL Network?
Yep.
Much like your daughter Stephanie, she's an Ole. She went to. She played basketball at St. Olaf for 2 years, and then gave it up and quit playing and went to American University out in D.C. and graduated from there and studied journalism.
Clearly,
there.
she had her sights set on more than
Yes.
than what we were doing.
Being a coveted assistant to sports talk. Yes, she.
You know
she
what
did.
I think?
Although I would say 3-4 years in a row, she stopped by the fair and say hello.
For sure.
She
But
used
I
to come
think
to the fair.
She didn't
You know
really.
what? And then she said, "I've done that now enough."
Yeah, right.
I believe, though, one of the things that she didn't really grasp was the other room with Height, Kenny, and Rook.
Yeah.
It was a little more tame when she was there as opposed to when I sat in there with those guys.
Oh, who do we have? Rook was. He was in there with you guys.
Yeah.
Too, right.
Yeah.
Rook, Kenny.
And the stuff they got away with in there, I'm only learning about now because I couldn't hear anything with that big glass wall.
Well, we even had a
was-
code word. It was, okay, everyone nod because Joe's looking at us.
Yeah.
It was fun when we had that. It was fun in that room too when we had the 13-month experiment in the morning. The
Oh, yes.
Ricey and Company.
Yep.
Because you had Kenny, and then you had Burnsy, and they got along like oil and water. And then you had the greatest newsman in the history of mankind, Bob Berglund, in there refereeing, and then you had Coles and I after we'd have a guest. At the end of the show, each time we'd argue who booked the worst guest that day. Which was, the old agitate the audience didn't work there either. So I don't get what happened.
Bergie was the absolute best.
Bergie was the best. He was the best.
Did you like the way the boys played last night? Or did they make hard work
I
of it?
thought they really... To have 0 points in the first half was difficult because, they were much the better team all night, but 3 turnovers will do that, I guess, right? All 3 of them were in the first half, right?
I believe so, yes.
The lost fumble and then the 2 intercepts, or was the second intercept in the second half?
I was telling Joe earlier, Pat, you forget how loud that place is.
I've only sat...
He was there last night.
I know. I've only sat in the press box, and I've not been there often for Viking games. But it's not that loud up there because you're way up high.
I was down in 118, and your ears my ears are still ringing.
Plus, they play the horn and everything else so loud. Yeah,
I got to go to a game in December.
it's big. Oh, really? Family deal?
Yeah.
You don't sound like you're looking forward to it.
I think the best way to watch football is TV.
So you paid $70 to park?
No, we had a young man drive us to and from the game. We just had to buy him
You
dinner.
saw parking at
$70.
Nearby place.
$70.
People out in L.A. were making a big deal that this new basketball arena for the Clippers, the something dome that Steve Ballmer built with his own money, $2 billion. They were charging $70 to park. We're doing that in Twin Cities. But I wrote this column a half a column, a little feature on these Hawaiians that came to town.
Yeah.
14 Hawaiians of some club that they're Viking fans, and they flew in and they, for the game. A ticket. I said, so what are the tickets costing you? $500 something.
What
like
did they
rows
set?
3, 4, 5, and 6 or something. He said, we got good seats. I said, what? 500.
Is that on the secondary market?
Maybe.
I would
don't
assume.
know. Maybe it was.
Wow.
What's a typical ticket cost to a Vikings game?
I don't.
$35.
We spent.
God, are you nuts?
Yeah.
No.
We spent $125 per, I think.
Where were you?
Lower deck.
Really?
Yeah.
125.
I didn't think that was too bad.
Mackerel. I don't know. I'm not.
Joe, it's funny you say that.
I know, but
I'm not going to get stuck with that bill.
I know a lot of
yeah, you
people,
are.
Joe, were paying $150 in the Metrodome, and then they got the seat licenses deal, and they were good seats that went to $400, and that was 16 it opened.
To be in
16,
that
yep.
dump?
The new place.
The new
Well, a
one.
new place. You said Metrodome.
No, the 150 and the seat that cost them 150 in the dome.
In the
was
Metrodome.
the first year in the new place cost them 400.
Oh,
and
my
they go
words.
up every year.
Well, I remember
10%.
the first year I had season tickets was 94, and it was 150 for the season. $150 for the season.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's one ticket now, if you're lucky. $150 for just one seat.
Yeah. $1 billion ain't what it used to be.
It isn't. It really isn't.
No, or
you know what
500
really?
to go to a sports
You know what
event.
really isn't what it used to be?
What?
$1 million.
Yes, it's not.
It's nothing.
It's not $1 million. It's not.
Well, you're the one. Was it you that said the 50's the new 20?
Oh yeah.
when you were around a kid or something?
When you're with the grandkids, and it's you want to give them, a little taste to go to. The kids going to Washington D.C. or something.
That'll be gone in a week.
Yeah, you got to give them 50.
Yeah.
Can't give them. You don't give them 20 anymore. What's
50's
20
the
going to
new
do
20.
for you? What's? Yeah, it is.
$100 ain't what it used to be.
It isn't.
Yeah. Anyway, well, we got a big election tomorrow, and God to help.
Are you
all of
voting
us.
twice?
I gave up. It's not worth
To
it.
hell with it.
I don't.
That was
I
the-
wonder if I'm still registered in Elko.
That was the best because people would call a bitch.
Yes.
You tell that Royce, folks. He's getting you going.
He really didn't vote twice.
Vote early, vote often.
Yes. Go out there. I think there was probably about 5 years though. If I would have wanted to vote in Scott County, I could have. But you go now, man. This whole idea of crooked voting, you show them a license, you fill out this form, then you fill out that form. The gals at the Golden Valley place are making sure.
Top drawer.
Making sure they're very good. Yes, they're
There
very
were
good.
places to vote yesterday on a Sunday. You could vote.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a kid who voted yesterday.
During the game?
No, before the game.
Gotcha.
What do you mean during the game?
Well, not a night game. They probably closed her down. So before we get into sports,
Do we really have to?
I went to Conclave yesterday.
Conclave.
The movie about the election of the Pope.
Oh,
that's
okay.
out. It's
Is it good?
I don't think it's okay. Ralph Fiennes is great as
Yeah.
always. He's the kind of the main character. But I'm not going to tell you what it is. But they give you a twist at the end to ding the Holy Roman Church.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of a. It's kind of a.
Well, did it
a jab,
anger? Did
kind
it
of a
anger you?
Yeah, I mean.
You can be angered.
Didn't anger me, but it was like I thought it was contrived. It was contrived. But
Didn't we just have a Pope movie?
Oh yeah, but those were the two popes discussing.
popes.
I never watched that. I guess it was pretty good.
It was
One of them
wonderful.
was Anthony Hopkins, and the other I can't remember who.
Well, the
it was.
other one is is River's dad in Slow Horses. River's grandfather.
Oh, really?
Yeah, what's
what is
his
that?
name?
I don't know.
Look up the two popes.
Okay.
And he also was
It
a
was supposed to be
famous
good.
villain in a Bond movie. Where where 007 was racing across the ice in cars. Remember, it was
Okay.
The Two Popes is 2019. Jonathan Price and
Jonathan Price.
Anthony
Jonathan Price.
Hopkins.
Yeah, he's a good bad
he's
guy.
really good.
He's a good bad
He's a
guy.
good guy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I remember the movie. He was a villain in.
Yeah.
He was good. I watched a movie last night that had Anna de Armas in it.
Don't know her, Pat.
She's a Cuban lass,
Uh-huh.
and this movie was like kind of later at night, and she was a Bond girl once, and I think I might have to find that Bond girl movie. 'Cause,
Right. What was the
she was a
movie
very-
you watched last night?
Oh, what the hell
Was it any good?
There's a Blonde, Knock Knock, Deep Water, Ghosted.
Deep Water. I watched her. She's with Ben Affleck.
Ben
and
Affleck.
she's frisky. She's married to Ben, but she's frisky.
Yeah, frisky girl.
She has friends that of the male variety that make Ben very jealous. So
Kind of like in real life.
Yes, right. Yes, and yeah, right. And it was
I might
something to watch late at night.
might have
Was
to
it
watch
a
this one.
mystery or? Help me out here.
Yes, it's a mystery. He's let's say the guys that are friendly with her
Yeah.
aren't coming to a good end in that movie.
As the hubby gets irritated?
The hubby kind of keeps his composure in the presence of others. But,
Joe, let me give you the little description here. You ready? Their open marriage is no secret to their concerned friends, and Vic grows increasingly jealous while Melinda laments his lack of passion.
I see. Now, is this Netflix?
I believe I found it on Max.
Also available on
that.
Hulu. That's what it's saying on the.
Okay.
I don't know if we got that. I think we got Hulu.
I guarantee you got it. I guarantee you got it.
You got to have Hulu.
I might have to check this one out, Patrick.
You know what they want?
Are there good parts, as we used to say?
Looks like it.
So I was trying to find something on Hulu the other day. I saw this series that they were advertising online, and it was unlike there was good drama. Not
Sure.
we weren't looking for the cheating wife. It was just other. You got to upgrade to the $79 a month Hulu for that. Sorry, I ain't doing that. No. I'm not doing that. All right, on to the sports scene. How about your hockey team? Wow,
they haven't lost.
8-1-2. 8-1-2. They lost one game. They lost in Philadelphia.
Was that a euphorian loss or a straight out loss?
7-5. Wait,
that was a straight up loss. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Then they went into Pittsburgh and won.
Went in Pittsburgh and won. Pittsburgh's old. But then they come back, and I was at the Lightning game, and the Lightning, by the way, people who tell you that's the same Lightning team, it's not. Their top line is very identifiable, but I'm not Mr. Puck, but a couple 3 years ago they had three lines that were fantastic. Now they only got one.
Did you see they got McDonough back?
McDonough's back. Yeah, McDonough's there. I said, great guy. I saw him make a very bad play though, but yeah, it's. I think they're kind of for real.
The Commies having a nice start, isn't he?
The first two lines are really good.
Yeah,
and then they got Favor back, and they got Brodeen and Spurgeon, the old guys, to help them and.
How about the overtime victory last night?
Yeah, I don't know how that Boldy's a nice player too. He's a goal scorer, which is good to have. And
it really is.
Spurgeon, though, I didn't realize how long Spurgeon. I was looking up that 2011-12 team, which had the best record in the league after 30 games, and then went completely in the tank. Well, that's got nothing to do with this team. They didn't have players like this. But Spurgeon was on that team, and he's been here since 2010-11. He had to be a kid when he started. He had to be 19
Gabrick's got to be out of the game by now,
yes,
doesn't
he is finally, yeah. About 3 years ago, I think he is. Yeah, but Spurgeon is, he's hurt. He's not hurt now, and he's been hurt a lot, but I think they're pretty good. I don't know. And the bottom two lines, they got 6-7 players who are, go out there and don't give up any goals. So that's
very strange schedule. They were gone most of October in the East.
Yes,
they got one more home game, and then they go way out west and stay there for a while.
But the amazing thing is they have an incredible number of home games in March, which is the month that the arena's full with tournaments all the time.
Right,
it's weird. You got the wrestling tournament, they got the girls hockey tournament, they got the boys hockey tournament. And then they have like 11 home games or something. So I don't know how that works.
Has the field all been set now for high school tournament?
Football?
Yeah, Saturday was the last day,
Football?
Right? I think so.
No. Oh, yeah, for what they consider the state tournament. But the quarterfinals are this week.
Because we were in... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The quarterfinals are this week. Friday.
Because we were in Chanhassen. Leland had a basketball tournament in Chanhassen. They had signs all up for their section final.
Yeah,
Saturday.
They go to Chanhassen for. They like using that stadium.
That's a great setup.
It is. It's a great setup. And
so
Holy Family won their section, by the way, with that promising young coaching staff of Dan O'Brien, Dave Nelson, and Jeff Ferguson. They're all together out there at Holy Family. Yeah.
So Cretin won.
Oh, Cretin did win? I didn't.
Now, does that mean they're in the state tournament?
State
tournament. Or they're in the quarterfinals?
It's a quarterfinals, but they call it the state tournament.
Right.
But you don't get to play indoors until next week, the semifinals.
So this quarterfinal, their next game will be outdoors. right?
Yes, wherever they
I
are.
don't even know who they're playing.
No.
St. Thomas advanced.
Here, I'm going to
Their
pull up
section.
the website here.
Are they in the same
Lakeville North plays Anoka in...
Anoka? How about Anoka coming back from years of not being real great?
And they beat Lakeville South by 35-34. Wow. That was on Friday night.
Eden Prairie knocked out by...
Eden Prairie was knocked out by... Hang tight.
Somebody knocked out Eden Prairie.
Hang on, I'm getting there. Oh, did they make the...
They got beat in the round of 16.
Was it Minnetonka? Did Minnetonka knock them out?
Minnetonka. I don't know who knocked them out.
I can't remember. Anyway, I'll pull up the other classes, too.
They got beat. But the 8 teams in 6A are all big suburb schools.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think, though, that Alexandria, Kenny's home school,
Yep.
knocked out Moorhead, and them were 1 and 2 in the state, I think. And now Moorhead won the regular season game, and then Alex knocked them out in the.
Cretin plays Owatonna, Joe.
Ooh, that'll be a good game.
When?
On the 9th, which is what? That's Saturday, correct?
I thought.
Now, do those games, are they at neutral sites?
This is at
Yes.
Eastview High School,
At
yes.
Eastview High
Yes, they
School.
start picking sites.
Yeah.
And Chanhassen plays St. Thomas Academy the same day. So the 9th is...
Where are they going to play that game?
At Osseo High School.
At Osseo.
And that's a nooner, and then the Eastview game is at 1.
What time of day?
Noon.
On
time's the Cretin game?
Saturday?
Yep, on Saturday. The Cretans...
I need an early Friday game. Find me an early Friday game.
Give me a Cretin time on Saturday.
Cretin plays Owatonna at 1 o'clock on the 9th.
Okay, that's a Saturday.
So they
which
got a
is
lot of
Saturday.
Saturday games.
Yeah, that's what... and then the 11 o'clock game is Robbinsdale and Alexandria. That's at Monticello
Which
High School.
Robbinsdale, Armstrong?
Robbinsdale Armstrong, yep, sorry. And then Monticello plays Elk River at 4 o'clock.
This is 5A, though, you're talking
Correct,
about.
yeah, this is
Not
5A.
6A.
Yep. Do you want any of the other classes?
Not really.
Not really.
Okay,
Not really.
all right.
Okay, the Vikings. Should have been easier, don't you think? Did you watch the whole thing?
Pretty much.
I kind of drifted off. At halftime, I changed channels, and then I forgot to turn it back for a while. But I guess I got back when they scored the touchdown to go ahead, and then they pretty much commanded it. But they're in good shape, man. They lost those 2 games. They're probably not going to catch Detroit, which wanted Green Bay. But they're 6-2, and they got Tennessee and Jacksonville, who both stink. And then they play the Bears, who are finding their stride the next 3 games. They should be 9-2, shouldn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do the Vikings still have Detroit twice?
just once.
Yeah, they lost here to them, and now
That's
they
right.
play in Detroit. I think the last is that the
It's
last
the last game of the year,
season?
yep.
But the Detroits have defeated both Green Bay and Minnesota on the road, which is they stuck it to the Packers on. That was. Did you watch that game Sunday in Green Bay?
I did,
On
just for the weather.
Had some weather. That rain was trying to turn to snow, but it couldn't quite.
But
do
it wasn't much of a game.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Detroit handled them with ease.
Yes, and then Jordan Love threw his traditional interception, which he throws every game he plays. So Green Bay's okay, but Detroit, I got to admit it, they're good. I can't imagine it. It's
Did you think Dan Campbell would be that successful?
no.
No,
I thought
neither
he'd be
did
in
I.
a mental institution.
Yeah.
I thought they'd take him away in a jacket. He's out there and he's doing goofy. They're still doing goofy stuff, but I think they scored twice on 4th down plays now.
Yeah. Boy, he likes to gamble.
Oh, man. Stupid gambles. I mean, here against the Vikings, he's right off the bat, he fakes a punt on 4th and 7 and lets the Vikings go ahead of him 7-0, just like that.
Yep.
But the Vikings' big concern, Joe, the immaculate kicker is hurt. Mm-hmm. Something happened to him.
Really? I didn't know he was
got
hurt.
a wrap on his leg over on the sideline because he missed the 53-yarder and didn't look the same, right?
Well, what's funny...
And then the next one, he just chunked her off the...
Inside, I mean, the crowd was buzzing because you just assume the kid's going to make it. He's been perfect all year. But the second it missed, everyone's like, oh. It was like it was unexpected,
It was kind of a duck, too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't...
Hit the post, didn't it?
It did.
No,
yeah.
the second one.
Or the second one did. You're right. You're right.
The little one, the 31 yards
Yeah.
was... Yeah, I missed that
Did
one.
you have a beer at the game?
Well, yes.
I'm just curious what those cost there.
$15.
$15, and that's for
Just
any
a
brand?
Coors Light.
Just a not a.
You on high end? You're going
not
17.
a Surly or anything.
I
like
think
that.
Surly was $16.50, I believe.
How's the line?
It's actually not too bad because there's 10 million spots to buy something.
Okay.
The
That's
food lines
just
were a little bit
amazing.
long, but
Joe, if you and I have you been there yet?
No,
You have not been there.
no.
I have tried to find people in there sitting in areas. Good luck to you. They got these lower levels, higher levels. They got little, you got to go down the steps to sit in this exclusive seat zone. It's a chaos in there.
the guy I was sitting next to, season ticket holder, I said, what is this run you game? Oh, I usually bought $100 or $200 just for him, right? Not just the seat.
You mean just for treats?
for sustenance.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how do you afford to do this?
I don't know.
8 games a year. How do you afford this? I mean, do you not do anything else other than work?
If you've been on the road with them, and I haven't now for 10 or 12 years, but back in the day, the people you'd see in the lobby, this was not like 3M partners or stuff. This was a crowd that was urinating away all their money for the entire year to go on the road with the Vikings, and to stay in the hotel and scream and holler and, when the Vikings came down off the elevator and stuff like that.
Wow.
It's, but, the amount of money the Zigmeister is hauling in, being the owner of that place. I was asking Judd today, has anybody ever seen how with boxing you had the house? They'd announce what the house was. Sure. That'd mean like $210,000 worth of ticket money would be the house or something. A big fight. I wonder what the house is for this. It's got to be $6 million, right?
Per game?
For the game. Per game.
Easily.
Tickets, yeah. Because it holds, 60?
66. I think.
66. It's got to
You're
be.
telling me the cheapest seat's over $100.
Well, upstairs there might be cheaper.
Yeah, you could
way
probably
upstairs.
get in for under $100 upstairs.
But maybe not on the secondary market.
Hey, guys, you're sitting on the roof.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering,
It's up there.
just thinking out loud
Right.
how much these seats
What
are
that's
going to
gonna
be.
run.
Oh,
you?
well, you're picking it up.
I don't. So far, I haven't been instructed, but that could happen any moment.
You know what? You might be better off just getting a suite.
The thing about the Taylor Swift concert, you remember that.
That's over
You
now,
remember
Pat.
that.
Yeah.
You remember that
I
she
do.
was here. She was here.
I do.
Everybody went and watched her on TV. She was
Right.
They're sitting up there in the second deck, and she's
Not
this
these
high.
people. These people
If
had
you-
good seats.
If you look down at the stage, she's this high. But you could, you look and I had 2 nieces, college kids that paid for a lot of their college, and they worked their hard-earned money. I think they spent $1,000 apiece.
Yep.
Did you
get
see
in.
Matt Stafford and his wife? He has, I think, 3 or 4 daughters, I believe.
Oh, really?
Matt Stafford dressed up as Jason Kelsey.
Oh, really?
And the wife and all the daughters dressed up as Taylor Swift for Halloween. He wore the big,
really?
what Kelsey wore to the U.S. Open, that big bucket hat or whatever he had.
Jason's
the mustache.
the center, though, right? What's the boy?
No, did I say Jason? I meant Travis. Travis Kelsey. I'm
Are
sorry.
they still? Is that still working out or not?
We got to go to the Taylor Swift
She
correspondent.
hasn't. Oh, she's out making money again.
I was
right?
informed that Kansas City does play tonight.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but we don't. But she hasn't been at games.
If
right?
you would have pointed a gun at her 3 years ago
Yes.
and say, where do the Kansas City Chiefs play this weekend? A, she wouldn't have known who the Kansas City Chiefs were. B, not to mention where they would be playing.
But I don't think she's been showing up, right?
Wasn't she on? Is she on
she's
tour?
out on tour.
She's on
out
tour.
tour.
She's
I
on
think.
tour.
She's on tour, but
But
she might
it's
be
affecting his play. He's just stiff. He can't play
back.
anymore.
Yeah, he slowed down.
He's slowed down. He's
Right.
All his energy's
He's
gone from
exhausted.
something.
He's exhausted.
Yeah, right.
Can't blame him.
Well, he doesn't get any sleep
Not
because he has
sleep.
to He has to.
Got to go out to restaurants at 2 in the morning.
Yes.
It's got to be
Concert.
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to go to concerts and
Oh,
God
God,
almighty.
no wonder. It's just terrible.
And he knows deep in his heart he's going to be the next album, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yeah.
going to be the next best-selling album. This ain't going to work out. You know.
It'd be funny if her album track were almost like the Chiefs' schedule. You know, this song is Tennessee. Whatever.
You lost a step when you met me.
Boy, I was hearing, a season preview. I stumbled on it about the Chiefs. And somebody was talking about the secret of the Chiefs is they always get off to a fast start. He plays his guys to some degree in the exhibition games, Reed, to get them ready. Even Pat Mahomes played a quarter, a little over a quarter. And they always start like 6-1 or 7-0 or something like that. So there's no great pressure at the end of the season as to whether they're going to make the playoffs or not. And they can stumble a couple, 3 times later in the season. And now they're 6-0 going or 7-0 going into tonight.
Yeah.
So
what
they
is
would
this game? What
they would be the first
8.
team to win 3 Super Bowls in a row.
They would.
Yes.
No, New England's won 2 in a row, right?
Yes.
San Francisco has won a
Yes.
couple in a row.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
nobody's won 3 in a row.
Nobody's won 3. That's their big goal this year.
Right.
Yeah.
And they keep losing guys. The receivers keep getting hurt, but they're 6-0.
And their
Are they
defense
home
is the
tonight?
best. No, I think they're in Tampa.
Well,
I
maybe.
think.
They got to beat Baker Mayfield, don't they?
Yeah, well, Baker doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
I would guess they'll figure out a way to win.
Where is that game? Do we know?
I think it's in Tampa. Let me double check. Give me a second here.
Well, you got a chance for weather in either town, but
So we should mention that A-Rod and Lori and Glenn started their arbitration hearing today.
It's in Kansas City. I apologize. It's in
Doogie
Kansas
had
City.
tape of them walking into the hotel down there. I think it's the one right across the street from Target Center, isn't it?
Is that the one?
Looked like it.
The Lowe's or whatever
Looked
we
like
call
it.
it?
Apparently it'll be several days, but then Doogie said might be a couple of months before we know who won.
Really?
Well, the whole thing is you got 3 guys, right, or men or women, whatever. One of them picked by Lori and Rodriguez, one of them picked by Taylor, and then the neutral party who breaks the tie, right? Why don't you just have that person hear it and
then go
get
get
it
out
down
with
in
it.
about 12 hours, right? So,
we have the possibility of rain tonight in Kansas City.
ooh, except the game's in Tampa.
No, it
Oh,
is
you
in
said
Kansas
Kansas
City.
It
City.
is in Kansas City. I misspoke. Yep.
Do we got turf in Kansas City?
No, it's grass.
Grass,
Yep.
it is. Huh? I haven't been there. Well, boy, I was there. God, Elvis Gerbach was the quarterback the last
wow.
time I was there, so that's a while ago. But the Vikings opened there one year.
I remember
and it
that.
was
Yeah.
hotter than a son of a gun, man. And what I remember is the guy, we're downstairs, and they basically had their interview in a room that held crap that they took out, stored stuff. It was basically in a storage room back down there. And the mascot came in, and that boy was in trouble.
Oh boy.
He was in a uniform, jumping around at 105 degrees all day, and he was hurting, man.
That's an old stadium.
Yeah, it is.
Well-
and the ticket buyer, the county out there, voted it down.
Yep.
They were going to give.
Wasn't the original plan to have a dome
Yes.
on rails that
Yes.
would go over the baseball and then come back for football?
I think it got too pricey or it wouldn't work, one of the two. But yeah, they both wanted. They were going to have a deal for a tax like we have here, but probably a whole cent instead of for the county, and they voted it down. And now Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, is offering to build each of them a stadium.
Really?
To move them to Kansas. The Kansas politicians are.
Well, they're not going to do that.
Well,
It's
course,
not that
it's
far away.
It's like
Right across-
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
that's
right?
where the soccer stadium already is in Kansas City.
Yeah.
in the other Kansas City.
Kansas City, Kansas is 50 feet away.
Yes.
From Missouri.
And-
You know what it is? Across the river.
That's it.
And you know what? Now, I don't know if this is still true, but back in the day, bars stayed open a lot later in Kansas City, in West Kansas City.
Well, when we were
I
down-
know that because way back when
You went there.
I was down there with the St. Cloud State basketball team, and they got surprisingly upset in the second round. And Stars, and I had a rent-a-car, and Team Stars, Terry Porter and Tom Diddy and I went over there drinking together after the game before I went back to the hotel and cranked out my my stuff for the St. Cloud Times. But Diddy and Porter...
Wait a minute. You cranked it out after you had been at the
After I
bar?
had a few drinks.
Is there any typos in there?
Well, I had Augie on the desk back home, so I never had to worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, but anyway, Diddy and Porter always got. I always said those guys got really good pub because I drank with them.
You know, you're reminding me.
I was underage, by the way.
I missed out. Last week, my Mavericks went down to Lexington to take on the Kentucky Wildcats.
Yes.
That would have been fun to go down there.
I think we lost by 20 or
22 points.
I texted Morgenthaler and said, "How much you getting?" And he texted me back and said, "Way more than the Gophers offered." He said they probably picked up, $50,000 and the flight.
Oh, for sure.
They picked up the playing exhibition down there. So.
Yeah.
Did they
Good for
win?
him.
No, they lost by 20. It was 20 or 21. I can't remember.
No.
Something like that.
I don't know how many of them. Do they have their whole team back or don't they?
I think they graduated a couple of starters.
They lost some of them.
Yeah. They were a hell of a team last year.
That was the best basketball game I saw last year. They're playing Northwest Missouri, which is a powerhouse in Division II. At Mankato, and you win, you go to the Final Eight, right?
Final eight. Yep.
And you win, and they had them beat. They couldn't make a shot. They kind of came crawling on their bellies back, and then guy's shooting two, and if he misses the second, and they throw an outlet pass, come down.
Doesn't call timeout.
They didn't call timeout, and the kid hits the jumper with about 2/10 of a second to go to win the game. That was a hell of a finish, man.
That's a great, and I tell people
that place was jammed.
That place is fun to watch basketball.
Yeah,
it's a great little intimate arena. The Taylor Center.
Boy, as Mankato.
Did Glenn pick up the tab?
He did.
Yeah, Glenn paid the whole thing.
Yep.
But it's about 20 years old. It's been there a long time.
Yeah, because they started construction right after I was done with school. Mm-hmm. So that was 2002, I think they started building that thing.
I think that's when it started, 2002. But they got a hell of a... Well, they won both last year. The women and the men won the Division II national
I don't think I'd recognize that campus.
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
It's been so long.
The gauge towers are gone.
Yeah.
That's now a parking lot. Mm-hmm. And I know...
Now, when you went down, you stayed in Gage Hall.
I lived there.
You lived in Gage Hall.
Me too.
Yeah,
Did you really?
I did.
Yeah.
That's where I met Mrs.
It was
Reavers.
a dump.
Mrs. Reavers lived on the 8th floor, and I lived on the 9th floor.
Oh,
I'll
really?
be
Yep.
damned.
They had...
That we were the one co-ed tower.
co-ed,
the
yeah.
other one was... No, I'm sorry. They were both co-ed towers.
But the Gage Hall was co-ed when the Vikings were in town, too.
I'll say.
Yeah.
They got a thorough cleaning, let's just say, after training camp.
Yes, right. And, they had to be back by 11. That didn't mean that somebody couldn't kick the back door open. So it was, that was the greatest they tell about Mettlers, The players got to be back by 11, So like at 10 to 11, about
Here comes
20
the line.
20 guys leaving Mettlers, the strip joint down there, and they always told the story. One day I happened to be at Mettlers, and with a couple of guys drinking, and they were drinking, and I was just BSing, and
You were observing.
Coach Bernsey came in about 5 minutes after all the players left. So, Bernsey, you want a drink? Yeah, okay. So
That's awesome.
that was great. Yeah, but that town, they got it figured out, and St. Cloud has turned into this
Oh, it's
First of all, the school is remote from the town, but Mankato's a going town now, and St. Cloud is dying. It's unbelievable.
well, all of their sports too.
Yeah, well, they dropped football,
Right.
and they were going to be cutting edge, and instead it killed them.
Yep.
Image-wise, they had a new football stadium. They got state high school league playoff games at the football stadium that they don't use anymore.
Well, isn't the college attendance declining there?
Oh God, they're down to 9,000
Yeah.
something. They were 15
That's
at one
it?
time. Yeah,
They're down to 9?
They were in the 9,000s.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't have anything.
Is that part of the
going
U
for
of
them.
M system?
No. The state university system is
yeah.
different. We got the two systems. We got the state college system, which has got Mankato, St. Cloud, blah blah blah. And
Then you got UM Morris,
the U got
UMD.
Morris,
Okay.
Crookston, UMD, and
Yeah.
the Gophers. Yeah. Morris is a little tiny campus now, 1,000 students or something. But the Indian kids, Morris, used to be an Indian school way back when for
Native American
school for 1880 or something they started, and so if you're a member of a tribe, a Minnesota tribe, you get a free education.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So about 300 of their 1,100 students are tribal kids.
I'm surprised the cheapskate that sits over there didn't send all his kids there then.
Oh, that's right.
He could have got away with a free education.
Probably. They probably didn't. Maybe, I don't know.
Right?
So he had the kid who wouldn't go to St. Olaf because it was too far away. They gave her a hockey scholarship.
Right. She
That's
didn't wanna-
too far.
It's too far away.
You could drive there in 40 minutes.
38 minutes, you're there.
Really?
Yeah,
The second one?
yeah.
Oh, really? So he gets to.
She's done now.
Was she a Tommy or what was she?
Yeah.
I don't know what she
Yeah,
did.
she went to St. Thomas.
Oh, that's cheap.
McLaren?
No, Sophia.
Oh, okay. Who got the hockey gig?
Sophia. Yeah. She was offered the chance to go there.
to St. Olaf.
She said, it's too far away.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't be a scholarship, but they give you some help.
Well, it would
They
have been
give
a
you-
nice taste.
They give you a taste.
Yeah.
It's not. St. Olaf, by the way, and you have
I
some
had a kid go
experience.
there.
You have experiences retail, 72.
Is it really now?
That's what I heard.
Well, for a voting, Pat, they've got a series of events this week for stress reduction, and you can make cookies, and they have art supplies, and they have a dog on campus named Bertha. You can go pet the dog, and they've got exercises. They've got a sound bath, which I presume means you
Really?
can listen to music or
They're
something.
out Carlton. They're out Carlton.
They're
now.
guaranteeing that the kids will leave there completely failed and not ready to handle anything.
Oh, really? Well, yeah.
My grandfather's
72, huh?
rolling in his grave.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm very nervous about the election because if it comes out the wrong way, the bridal, you can probably got the same issue.
Oh, God.
It's gonna be several days of hell.
You two might need to get an apartment.
Yes.
I'm looking for a house for sale.
Oh my God.
I can't. I'm not living like this. You get over it. Whatever
You're
happens.
going to say, can I just get a 4-year lease?
Just get over it. He ain't going to win. I don't think he's going to win.
Oh God. Well, do you think it's over on Tuesday?
Oh, no.
evening?
You won't know till March.
Yeah, right.
What was the line the Babylon Bee said? Democrats, or I forget which party, but said they're going to need 4 years to go over the results.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
This guy's going to be with you until he's in the ground. It's never going away.
Well, if we can just get Herschel at a few more press conferences, a few more introductions in my Donald Trump Jr. Juno Trump. Yeah. The guy managed to lose a Senate seat in Georgia, for God's sakes. What are you breaking him out for God's sake?
Him and Mr. Pillow. Here we go.
Yeah. Boy, Mike, we haven't seen much of
Well,
Mike.
I think Mike heard from people that he works with and said, Mike, maybe we should lie low for a while.
Yeah, because she's not, the pillow business ain't real great.
Well,
right now.
we said this at the time. What's he doing? He's committing suicide career-wise.
Well, we had dinner with him a couple of times down in Florida. at spring training.
I believe he was also a
He was an
guest.
amped up guy, but I didn't know that this part of him existed.
Oh, he was wired.
Oh God, he was wired. Yeah.
Did you notice
We had
that?
him on a show once. I didn't arrange that. It was told to me that we were having him
Was
on the
this
show.
after he'd become political?
No, but
He
when
was an advertiser.
He was Mr. Pillow. I sold pillows.
Okay, yeah, right. That was and the way he sold. I think with all the radio stations and stuff was, you got paid by how many pillows you sold.
That's right.
Yeah, it wasn't like they had.
He loved Joe. Joe sold
I
him
sold
some
some
pills.
pillows.
Oh, you sold some
I
pillows.
sold some pillows.
I think we tried to do that
Real
on my
proud of
show
that.
too. We lasted about 3 days. You know,
I
buy
get you
one of
into a
these
pillow.
buy one of these damn pillows, even though the guy's a fruitcake. That was probably
That probably didn't work, did
it probably didn't work. You know, that might not have helped.
Well, once in a while, Pat, you'd end a live spot with, or don't, I don't care.
Was he? You had dinner with him during that Twins spring training.
Twice, yeah.
What was he doing at spring training?
He was one of our advertisers, and when we had the Twins, at the station.
Yeah.
He might have been down there that you and I we had our play-by-play career. Our career.
Short-lived.
There was someone had tagged us. This is a couple weeks ago. It'll take me forever to find it, but there was an awkward play-by-play, like a college football play-by-play, and said Joe and Pat Part 2.
Did anybody have a tape of that?
Oh yeah.
Well, I have the one
Just
soundbite.
the one sound.
I don't
We
have-
lasted.
We don't have the whole. No,
We don't
lasted
wanna
it.
hear that again.
We lasted an inning.
Well,
Here's the pitch. Booth glaring in.
Oof.
Wide. I'm sorry, inside. Not wide. Inside, ball.
no.
I think he called it a strike.
He did?
What's he raising his hand for? It looked like a strike to me. It was
1-1. This is not as easy as you think it is when you listen to Gordo all summer long.
well, he's a vet.
When we did the first Town Ball
I
Classic,
was telling him about Highway 74.
You had facts. Sucha, 44 was here.
Way down
And then
here.
they built 75.
I knew we weren't going to be on long. I wanted to get a little history.
I remember the very first Town Ball Classic we did, and you two and Rook and Judd were doing Saturday Sports Talk, and one of the people from the Twins, it wasn't St. Pete, but said, "Oh, are Joe and Pat going to do one of the games?" I said, "No, no."
Every time I see my guy Krieger, I talk about our pregame show when I asked him. He runs the Green Isle team. And I said, now who has more players for Minnetonka? Minnetonka or Green Isle? He didn't like it.
Thanks a lot, Pat.
He's still bitter about that one. So anyway, I
right.
think we're good.
I need a Valley
We
Group.
gave him enough.
We do need a pause, but I need a Valley Group.
All right.
sir.
Okay, but he can leave.
Yeah,
right?
that's
we
fine.
Don't need a boss.
See you later, he says.
Jim Paul and Brett Paul, they run the Valley Group of GM dealers. They got a store in Apple Valley. They got a store in Hastings. They have 4 different varieties of Buick SUVs out there. There are rebates. There are low interest rates. There's an SUV of every size and shape for you, depending on how many kids you're taking to hockey practice. If you're taking the whole neighborhood, maybe you want the big one. If you're taking just maybe one child, you want the smaller one. And in between, they also have the Regal station wagon that's new this year. A good old-fashioned station wagon. It's kind of fun. One of our favorite cars was a station wagon back in the days. Anyway, Jim Paul and Brett Paul, Valley Group of GM dealers. Right now, low interest rates and high rebates going on. All the Buicks and also the Sierra heavy-duty trucks. You have super salesmen who've been there a long time, salespeople. You also have some gals out there at Apple Valley. Jim Paul and Brett Paul's Valley Group of GM dealers. My guys, check them out.
You know what we haven't talked about, Patrick?
What is that,
Positivity
sir?
is going to change this culture, period.
Oh, hey,
when you
that's
get
right.
inside the football walls, you're going to have positivity hit you right in the face.
How about that?
You know that it's hard on me to praise PJ, but his teams, except for last year, didn't work last year. Even with the old Wisconsin jinx that he finally ended, They always seem to get better.
They do.
They
throughout
do.
the year.
He does improve them through the year. This quarterback, you're getting a guy from New Hampshire. Looked, from what I'm told, he looked very erratic in practice, but they kind of liked his personality. He gets, not only are the Gophers getting better as the season progresses, he seems to get better as the game progresses. He's been very good in fourth quarters, making plays. They have some receivers, and then they got one of the top 5 or 6 running backs in the country, probably, in Darius Taylor. He's fantastic. So,
good sophomore?
Good finish. And now they got Rutgers, the grudge match with Callie McManus, who stinks, and so they're going to be 7-3. And then they got Penn State here. That place will be jammed for that game. Penn State's offense is not much. They didn't score an offensive touchdown on Ohio State. Now the coach is under fire. And
how about him going after the fans? Did you see that, Franklin?
Yeah, we went after some guy who was screaming at him, and he wanted to know what his name was.
Sure.
And he loses his composure a little. He's been a very good recruiter, but not. I don't think he's much of an in-game coach. But that place will be hopping. And then Wisconsin. Do you see what happened to them at Iowa?
Yeah,
42 to 10.
They got rolled.
They, they thought they made the hot shot, very expensive hire in Luke Fickell from Cincinnati, who was supposed to be Ohio State possibility of a day left. And he had been at Ohio State, was the interim there for when Urban left. And he was supposed to the recruiting ratings have been pretty good, and they've done really good in the transfer portal, but they don't win. They get their quarterback stinks. A lock or something. I've seen them a little bit. Their quarterback stinks. So 9-3 is a possibility. It won't get them in the playoffs because they got that North Carolina loss is the one that kills them. But they're going to get in a good bowl game.
Yeah, you look back too. They really have only been outplayed against the Hawkeyes. They could have beat Michigan. They should have beat North Carolina.
All they had to do was kick a 42-yard field goal to beat North Carolina, which is not good. And, Iowa kicked the hell out of them in the second half. But then Iowa goes to Michigan State and gets beat 2 weeks ago. Indiana goes to Michigan State and beats them 47 to 10.
How about that story?
And there was nobody in the ballpark by the time the game ended. I saw a little bit of it. They're 9-0. They've scored 47 times, I believe.
Wow.
And this coach is the cockiest SOB that ever lived.
I win.
Okay, he's got a lot of stuff. He says... Somebody says, something about Indiana, and he says, that in addition to I win, what are you going to do? I win. He also said, look me up on the Google.
He's going to get plucked though?
Oh
right?
God, yes. He'll be Oklahoma's going to fire that Brent Van Abel. No, they're not going to fire Lincoln Riley yet. They don't have enough money to fire him. You know who went out there to Southern Cal though? Matt Entz. The head coach at North Dakota State left to become the offensive guy at Southern Cal, thinking that it would maybe get him a D1 job. It might get him unemployed is what it might.
Really?
Because North Dakota State is number one again in the country. And but anyway... Yeah, I think Oklahoma before anybody is going to fire. They're not going to put up with being 4-8 or 5-7 or getting run by Iowa State or somebody.
And you look at some of these, like what happened to those guys in Florida State? What happened to these?
Florida State is. Last I looked, they were 1-6.
Yeah,
are they still 1-6?
They're terrible.
Yeah,
they stink.
Last year they were whining that
they didn't get in.
That they didn't get in because their quarterback got hurt and. Congratulations to the committee. But what are they going to now? Indiana's got Michigan, Ohio State, and
Purdue.
Oh yeah, the Purdue. I think they still finish with Purdue.
I think so. Yeah.
So they'll beat them by 50. But Purdue's terrible. But they'll probably lose to Ohio State. Maybe not. But they'll probably beat Michigan. Michigan's
especially
offense,
if it's in Bloomington.
Yeah, I don't know if it is. Michigan's offense is terrible.
Yeah.
And, Harbaugh got out while the getting was good, didn't he? Because that guy, by the way, the Sharon, whatever his name is, he got one more year. He'll be run out of there.
Before we go, somebody wanted to get your story on Kirilloff, the retirement.
Oh, yeah, I should have brought that up.
Just the health issues are that severe? Is it more mental?
I think he was... Well, the health issues are that severe, but it was definitely mental. I don't know. I remember talking to him when he was first down there, signing, maybe his first spring training or second. I didn't see him, and that's when I was down in spring training early there a few years. And it was sat down and talked to him for 20 minutes, but there was not a usable quote in the whole thing. He's just a very low-key, comes from a very conservative, I mean, the old man was a hitting coach, but a very conservative family, very religious family. He actually went to a small Christian school, but that didn't have athletics, so they were kind of like here. They could go and play so he played at a real high school, but he went to a real small Christian school. And he got married real young because, they have a tendency to do that.
Sure.
And so he's 19 maybe, and he's married, or 20, and then behind Paseo, where we had our place, down the road there was another development, and he and his wife lived back there when they first got there, and she was 19 or 20 years old and already in the real estate business. And he was, because did you see, he said one thing that interests him is real estate.
Oh, I did not know. I didn't notice that. Okay.
And they were living back there. And I think they've had a kid now. I think they got a child, but I'm not sure. But he was just really not a really serious guy. Really, I found him extremely serious. And he could really hit, too. I loved him. I love that swing and back in the day. But I think it's more, I'm sick of not being good. I'm sick of not being myself. I think he'll be back in a couple of years.
Think so?
Probably not here.
I was just going to say, how does that work then? Do they still obtain his rights?
I don't know. They probably would not. If he wanted to go someplace else, they'd let him go. I would guess. Well, because
remember the hue and cry when they brought him up in the playoffs against Houston, and they thought, you're burning a year. What are we doing?
No, they weren't really burning a year.
But the hue and cry of that, people were kind of,
they did not
what are we
know
doing?
what. But I think I read he's like either the first or one of the very first guys to make his big league debut in the postseason. Not many guys have done that, and that's how good. I mean, not only make his debut, they played him.
Well, he had 2 hits, right? That first game, I remember that.
I thought, even this year, I thought he'd be their first baseman. Well, I guess not after they signed Carlos, but I don't know what it is. It's just I think it's more he's defeated.
That's what it seems like.
He has this other life, a really religious fella, and he's got this life with his wife, and and I don't know. I was in his midst 2 or 3 times this summer, and he looked beat. I mean, he looked like depressed. He just looked depressed, and I think it's too bad, man. I liked him way better than Royce. Way better than Royce when I first saw both of them.
Sure.
But Royce got 30 pounds of muscle from when he was a lithe shortstop. And we got our doubts about Royce now, too, after the way he finished this season. But it'll be interesting to see how he comes back. But
the local 9 is a long ways from the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah. But Juan Soto hasn't made up his mind yet. Hasn't become a free agent yet.
Let me guess, you floated that one out there?
Oh, God, yes. I think I said on Twitter, despite the strong rumors I don't think the Twins are going to sign Juan Soto because he won't like the distant wall.
Sure,
and
makes sense.
The high distant wall in right center field.
Meanwhile, he'd hit the dog on target center.
But he would like, Correa doesn't like it because he hits a big high fly ball. I just don't think Juan would like the wall.
Not a good match.
No, plus, he comes from warm climates, and sometimes you got to play cold weather here.
Is he really going to make 650?
I don't think so. Who knows, though? I mean,
well, didn't I say? Was it who reported that?
Well, was it
Heyman?
That's what they want. That's what they want. But I don't know if anybody would give them that.
Oof, that's a lot.
The Yankees aren't going to give that to him. If the Dodgers give it to him,
well, and Cole opted out, right? Cole opted out of his.
Yeah. What would you do
if I'm the Yankees?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'd probably let Cole walk, to be honest.
Too. I would too.
Well, he's still a good pitcher, but he's 36.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't know why he's doing that.
Well, because wasn't it the bit where they can add on another year and $36 million, and then they can retain him for $5 and whatever that would be, $5 and $180.
Maybe he wants him to retain him,
but he's not going to get that on the open market.
I don't think so. But it is. Is he a Boris guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Boris always takes the opt out no matter what.
Yep.
So. Boris not a Soto. He doesn't have Soto though, right? I don't think
no,
so.
I think he does.
Does he?
I think he does.
Well, then he's the one floating 650. I think Heyman's one of his guys.
Okay.
I think Heyman's one of his guys. So
anyway,
well, I think he'll do okay this winter if the international everybody who does the bodies, everybody who does if the industry doesn't work against him like it did Correa.
Sure.
When Correa was going to get 350 and then he only got 200. The orthopedic, the international orthopedic conspiracy against Boris' clients was what cost Correa $100 million. So, anyway, what do you think? I bet if they had a chance to move Carlo someplace, he'd go.
But
he'd be happy to go.
But they probably have to eat some of that?
Yeah, maybe eat some of it. I don't know. Well, the new owners, I heard that they got a lot of private equity people looking at this thing.
Oof.
So, like big equity companies, this would be just one of their holdings, So
Sure.
It'll be interesting. But if that's indeed the situation, that'll take a while then.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of what I read something that the last few baseball teams, and not many have come up for sale, have taken over a year to move. So.
Yeah.
All righty.
Good enough.
Thank you for out there, the YouTube audience.
Yes.
Now that you get to watch this nonsense, we'll see you. This is Ricey for the Canopy Group. When was the last time you heard from your insurance agent? You probably had to call them, all right? Why is that? It's because they don't have any options to offer you. They only represent one company. They have nothing to call you about. The Canopy Group represents 16 companies, not one. Their team of 40 professionals work tirelessly to comb the insurance marketplace and match you with the best company at the best price. That's why you'll hear from the Canopy Group. They have more to offer. The Canopy Group has more to offer. Remember that. The Canopy Group's process matches the coverage you need and can save you a small fortune over time. Give the Canopy Group a call today at 800-967-3389 or visit thecanopygroup.com to learn more about this unique operation, the Canopy Group.